Johnny, we want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us at glammetal.com today. First question I got for you is, what or who made you want to become a professional musician?
Well, I knew I wanted to do that like way early. I mean, before I even knew I wanted to play drums, I was like singing in choir and glee club. I went to Catholic school, and so I should have probably become a singer, but I guess I didn't have enough like real confidence to be standing out front, you know, naked like that. So I like to hide behind the drums. But yeah, all my older sister's record collection, and like a lot of 70s rock, and you know, everything from Elton John to Alice Cooper to, you know, Deep Purple, and you know, and then some, yeah, absolutely. But you know, one day I got turned on to Kiss Alive, and that just blew my mind, and that was it for me. I was like gone into a whole different, you know, like I just said, it's been said before, but for that generation, it was like the Beatles, right. Massive, you know, just before the whole information overload, you know, when you had to actually like stay up to watch a TV show to see a band move instead of like being a magazine photo, you know. So yeah, I mean, I have to give it up to them for that. That record captured everything, and the whole concert experience, you know, a band of 4 individuals united for a common goal, and you know, so yeah, that probably did it.
So we were just talking about obviously your influences. So who were your influences growing up besides like these albums? Like who did you look to and say, wow, you know, that musician I like to emulate, or something like that?
I went through, you know, the usual phases of just, you know, when I was really young, it was like almost like I didn't even really get into who I was listening to. I just, you know, would hear a song and really dig it, or, you know, until I started playing and buying magazines and records and stuff, and then I, you know, got more focused on image and who was doing what and all that. But I would say, you know, even like early Motown stuff just is still in there somewhere, you know, just the hooks and the simplicity of it all, and just I'm just a sucker for a great song, you know, a melody and, you know, lyrics and all that stuff. So I think I would say all early music that I was, you know, Beatles, of course, you know, just great songwriters, and in the pop rock kind of mold, and just took it from there, you know.
Well, going back to your, well, early 90s, how did you get involved playing with Doro?
It's kind of funny story, but a mutual friend, my friend Jimmy DeLella, he played keyboards in the first band I was in, Wasted. He also played for a little while as our offstage guy in Britney Fox, and then he was in Doro's band, and just we've been in and out of like so many bands together. Yeah, he got the gig with Doro before I did, and because she was living in New York for a bunch of years and basing herself around the Jersey, New York area, and of course having Nick Douglas in the band before that. So they were working in a studio down in South Jersey doing some demos and stuff, and when it came time to get a new band lineup together, you know, they did some auditions, and they picked everybody, and they the original guy that they had, the drummer, didn't want to go on tour, and you know, it didn't work out for whatever reason. So I got a call sort of last minute, right before, you know, a European tour, which was going to be filming a live video and a live album. And
nothing like pressure, right?
No, man, I was like, you know, but you know, those are the kind of situations you kind of like rise up to, and I was like, cool, you know, this is great, because I hadn't been doing anything for about, you know, a little over 8 months or something, and it was perfect because I was going insane being at home. And so I went down. Dora remembered me from, you know, because we had like videos on MTV at the same time and stuff, so she was like, oh, Britney Fox. Yeah, I remember that. Girl School video, yeah. Oh, Johnny, cool, you know. And then I went down and played in Philly, and we had a good time, got along great, and I've been here ever since.
What is your favorite Doro song to play live?
That's tough, man. Recently, there's one, "Creep Into My Brain," which was on the latest album, and it was written kind of like in a sound check situation with the whole band just jamming on a riff. And I like those, you know, the ones that I had a little bit to do with. But man, there's so many cool songs from the old days to play, you know what I mean? I think "Hellbound" is really fun, and oh man, some of them don't even have drums in them, but like "Beyond the Trees," and there's just some of the ballads, just because they're different, and we've been playing the staples for so long. If she throws one in there that's like out of nowhere, it's like, oh, this is really cool. It's like a breath of fresh air. But you know, they're all fun. It's like your kids, man. You know, I don't have any kids, but you know, you like them all in some way. Some are more pain in the ass than others, and all that stuff.
Well, since you're obviously from Philadelphia and in the States, compare the audiences here in the United States to the ones you play over in Europe with Doro.
If you rewind 10 years or something, I mean, that, you know, in a good way, I mean, it's like people's attention spans are a little bit longer over there, and they're just big time about, you know, enjoying the whole. They have a whole different mentality, you know. People here are a little spoiled, and I mean, I love America. I wish the people knew more. I wish everybody here could go to Germany, say, once and experience a festival there, and then, you know, start to see what a real festival is like. But you know, we've had some great shows over here as well, so I would just say that people don't mind getting rained on. They don't care what's going on. They get muddy, they fall down drunk, they sleep on the floor, they, you know, and they just rock out constantly. So it's all good, but you know, it's different everywhere. People, different countries are more outgoing, you know. The Spanish are like, you know, their hearts are out there, and you know, it's real. You can feel the difference, man. But you know, it's just amazing when you get like a soccer chant going in a venue, and you know, there's a whole different feeling, you know. But you know, the American crowds are, you know, obviously we've never played any real big shows in America to really compare them to. So for me, it's not like US versus Europe. It's like huge show in Europe versus a small gig in America. I mean, there's going to be a big difference there. So I would love to, you know, do like an Ozfest or some kind of festival situation in the States where we could really get a barometer as far as what
we were talking about Rocklahoma before you came in.
Yeah, man, that sounds amazing. I would love to experience that.
Myself being huge Britney Fox fans, and there's a lot of Britney Fox fans out there, and obviously there's some stuff going on with Britney Fox right now, so there's a couple questions I want to ask you, since, you know, obviously you're a big part of that. Billy Childs is basically out touring and recording with, you know, a different lineup and without the consent from the original band. You know, what's your true feelings about that?
That's pretty much, you know, what it is. It basically, you know, the band always existed as a, you know, as a four-piece unit, you know, with everyone getting an equal say. It really was a band, you know, including our original manager, who, you know, had a lot to do with it. I mean, so, you know, we've tried a few things over the years that, you know, some of them went well and some of them didn't, being recordings and tours and stuff. But, you know, the thing is that we always kind of got together and talked about stuff before we made any decisions, you know, and that wasn't done this time. And now it's just turned into a big mess, and, you know, nobody ever wanted to get into any kind of, like, situation where we're, you know, I mean, this is a guy I grew up with and probably was in my first band with, and now I don't even speak to him at the moment, and there's all this, you know, ugly crap going on. So it's a shame, because it's not the real band, and it should be, you know, and it could be. It's not that anyone isn't willing. I mean, Michael doesn't really want to tour, but he's not opposed to doing something or having somebody fill in for him or doing some bigger shows and whatnot. So I don't know what else to say about the situation, because it's just turned into a joke, and I wish it would, I wish Billy would just kind of come to his senses and realize that if everyone sat down and we did it the proper way, it would be beneficial for everybody. Most importantly, the fans who, they're so confused. It's like, what lineup is it? Who's singing? You know what I mean? And I just, as a fan, I really hate that stuff, and I would hate if my favorite band was going through that, And you can look down the list and see, all these bands that have gone through certain kinds of situations like that, and it's always a drag for the people that are going out and seeing the shows, So, I mean, we're just going to have to see if we can work it out.
Well, and this is obviously you probably answered follow-up questions, but I'll go through them anyways. With with Tommy Paris and Michael Kelly Smith are no longer members of the band. They've officially been replaced, and you're saying that obviously that's true because none of you guys have been contacted, correct?
Well, they have been replaced, but that's the thing, that they're not officially out of the band. I mean, the band never, agreed on what was going down now, and now we have people who have never even been involved in the inner circle claiming that they own ownership and they own this and that, and it's like it's so ridiculous that, I mean, it's like almost not even worth talking about. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Tommy's stance on things are, because I haven't talked to him since they put this whole thing together. But basically, I got a phone call and I was told that the band was going out without me, and because I was too busy to be involved, which is total BS. And
how long ago was that?
That was like last year, right before, probably like April of 07. Yeah, so that was a shocker, and that was really unfortunate, and it just kept getting worse from there. So now it's just like it's like a dirty, ugly snowball rolling down the hill,
Well, a press release went out from Chavis Records saying they officially signed Brittany Fox in the lineup again, which is probably the lineup they have now, whatever that lineup may be. This is obviously with the only, guitarist Billy Childs. What are your thoughts about that news? Did you hear about that at all?
I do know, because I'm getting emails back and forth between them. I mean, these people are signing a band that they believe to be a legitimate thing, which it isn't. And so, of course, there's concern there, but, the legal stipulations haven't been, laid out properly for them. So, they're getting themselves involved in a whole lot of stuff, and, I guess I can't really talk about what, the next thing will be. Right. But, yeah, it's basically, I mean, it's like, okay, so anyone can claim to be the owner of a band's name, and I'm just going to go out and do whatever I want to do, you know what I mean? Like, I could have done that 10 years ago, but I always thought, why would I do that? It's ridiculous, I would rather do it, if it's going to be the band, I would like it to be as close to the band as possible, And, of course you're going to have changes and all, but, if Billy would have approached the organization and said, look, do you guys want to be involved? And if not, I would like to do this, which he never did. And that's, that's inherently wrong right there, because you got people that do care and are still involved and want to be involved. And then, now we're on the outside of kind of, and everybody's confused, from us down to you, down to the fans. So.
Well, going back on talking about you guys, that you wouldn't be opposed to, obviously, all four, talking and possibly getting something together. Do you see the original Brittany Fox ever recording or touring again? And if so, what can you expect the true Brittany Fox fans out there to expect any result from any of that?
Well, I think if you're going to original lineups, that would of course mean Dean would have to be involved, and he's said numerous times that he is just so far removed, he's off doing a whole different musical style. He doesn't want to really rock anymore, and that's something that's unfortunate. But, I suppose anybody could change their mind, you know. Let's see if someone wants to put up a lot of money for something that's like worth everybody. You know, Michael teaches guitar, you know, 5-6 days a week. I mean, he can't really afford to get up and go out on tour for, you know, in a club situation for less money than he would make staying at home. And that was always his thing. For me, I'm not opposed to just going out and playing, because I don't have, you know, just a big kid. I don't have that much responsibility at home, which is the way I like it. But yeah, I mean, Dean probably, I never get the vibe from him that he would do it, although I think I did speak to him about the whole way things are right now, and he's even disgusted with it, you know, and he's got nothing to do with it. So it's just like, you know, it was his baby, and I guess, you know, it's like, you know, it's really just bizarre. But I think, you know, it would be cool to do something down the road all together. But I mean, now, you know, this makes things even more difficult, you know. I mean, before it was just like, well, it's either with Dean or without Dean, and now it's like being, you know, you're splintering into like all kinds of different avenues. So yeah, who knows? I mean, time will hopefully heal a little bit of stuff, or maybe it's just going to make it worse.
Well, we appreciate you taking the you know, time to clear up the Britney Fox rumors, because like I said, it's just like everybody is confused, and there's just like a lot of different people coming in and out, and then, you know, they toured last year and now they got a different lineup from that. So just we do appreciate you taking, you know, the time to, you know, clear those up. But go back on, you know, Johnny Dee, Death Star Overdrive. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's just a side project that I got involved with. A real good friend of mine, Rob Templeton, had a band going in Philly for like 10 years, just, you know, doing local stuff. And he got involved with a guy who wanted to, you know, give him some studio time, release something. And basically the band was in the process of just kind of like disintegrating. And, you know, I just wanted to help the guy out. He's been a long-time friend, and I always thought, you know, he had some good tunes, and he has potential for sure. So I said, you know, look, I'll play on the stuff and do the sessions, and then kind of take it from wherever that leads, you know. If you get something going and I'm not busy, I'll play, you know, whatever gigs you have and stuff like that. So it really wasn't something that I was involved with all that much musically, but I do enjoy like the songs, so I thought, well, I'll go in and play on them, and you know, do a few gigs here and there when I'm home in Philly. But that's pretty much the extent of it, you know. And then I ended up doing a couple other projects with the same producer engineer guy, and you know, it was a good time. Got to do some cool tracks with some cool people, friends from Philly and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if what that'll turn into, but it's basically something that I just wanted to help out a friend on.
Well, what other projects are you involved in when you're not touring with Doro and you guys have downtime? What other stuff, or any hobbies or anything that you have?
Well, this is the this is the most downtime we've had in quite a while. So I really have these little like pockets of time where I'll be home in Philly and I'll do a session, or I'll do a cover band situation, or it just, you know, sometimes that can really save you from, you know, if it's a difference between playing a few gigs of cover songs and playing nothing for 6 months, and then jumping on stage with Doro and my hands falling apart, bleeding, and, you know, I'm just going to go out and bang out some covers, especially if it's like cool, like 70s classic rock or 80s stuff, which I know like the back of my hand. And so, yeah, I did an interesting session for this guy Peter Cornell, who was Chris Cornell's brother. It was like a year ago. They were getting ready to release a record called Black Market Radio, you know, and the label that was putting it out wanted to clean up the tapes and do some, you know, mixing and stuff, and they had trouble getting the drum sounds to be where they wanted them to, and they asked me to replace drums on this thing, which I thought was kind of odd, because I thought the drums that were on there were actually really great. You know, it was like a very Soundgarden-y, of course, sound, and like a Zeppelin-y kind of vibe in it, which is amazingly cool. I love that stuff. But so I basically went in and did this record. I never met the guy, never met the band, just laid some drum tracks down, and it was so like surreal and detached, but I love the music, you know. But you know, so you know, sometimes I get called to do whatever, and you know, and I actually enjoyed it, but it was really kind of strange doing drums at, you know, at the end of something that's already finished. And but you know, I just do whatever, you know, whatever comes up, stuff like that.
Well, wrapping up here in Toronto before your show, is there anything that you want to say in closing to the glam metal readers out there, and also your Toronto fans and fans all over the world?
I would like to say thanks for the support. Anybody out there that's still coming, you know, to shows and stuff like that, and even new fans, we're picking people up all the time, and of course to you, thanks for your support and getting some, you know, getting the news out there, what's going on. You know, it's a tough time in music, and people don't know what's going on, so you guys are, you know, bringing...
There is no music business anymore.
Yeah, it's so insane, man. But at least you got a little pocket of the world where people can go if they like that kind of music and get some news, you know?
Right. Thank you. Well, thank you for taking the time at glammetal.com. We appreciate it, and have a great show tonight.